I'm David Costa at the Schreiber Public Library, and today I'll be reading you this week's edition of the Terrace Bay-Schreiber News. Library hosts Easter Craft for Kids. On Wednesday, April 13th, the Terrace Bay Public Library organized and hosted an afternoon school Easter craft for kids aged 5 and older. A total of 10 kids were in attendance for the craft, although some younger kids came with their parents as well. The kids did several Easter-related crafts. These included a little chick and a little rabbit, which involved painting. Other crafts that were offered were a wreath of Easter eggs and a paper plate bunny and chick. The kids received a break from their crafts about halfway through the program to take part in an Easter egg hunt. They had to use clues that were given to them to search for eggs that had been secretly hidden all throughout the library. In the end, the kids were able to use the clues to quickly find all the eggs. After some hard work in finishing their crafts, the kids were treated to a small treat bag of Easter eggs, much to their delight. Overall, the program was a dazzling success, and it was evident that the kids had fun. Terrace Bay Town Council, March 21st, 2022. The minutes from the regular meeting held on March 7th were accepted as presented. The Terrace Bay Drinking Water System 2021, Section 11, Annual Report and Schedule was presented to Council. It was then accepted. There was a discussion on creating a Property Standards Committee through appointment of the existing Committee of Adjustment for the role. It was approved and the appropriate bylaw would be brought forward. The CAO clerk gave an update on COVID-19. This included the local and district numbers. The CAO clerk discussed the procedural bylaws changes to include Indigenous acknowledgement on each regular council meeting agenda. Also, Kim Krause from Schreiber Media Center discussed that the center can record and post Terrace Bay regular meetings online. These were both carried. The Treasurer Deputy Clerk discussed Council's 2021 remuneration and travel report. The report was approved as presented. Gary Adeno, chair from the 75th Anniversary Committee, gave a verbal update on the upcoming celebrations scheduled for August 2022. The Special Projects Coordinator discussed the application to the Ontario Trillium Foundation Resilient Communities Fund. Council supports an application to this and that they are committed to building community resilience, health and safety through planning, community consultation, and improving resource and knowledge data sharing. Council Notes Disclaimer. Council notes and content contained wherein are not official minutes. Contents and comments are opinion, interpretation, and impression of the goings-on at council meetings by the reporter present or editor. The township offers formal minutes upon request or on their websites. The Terrace Bay-Schreiber News is looking for contributors. The Terrace Bay-Schreiber News and the Nepean Red Rock Gazette are always looking for community contributors to help keep their communities up to date on the day-to-day goings-on. Community contributions can be as simple as a great picture you took, either scenic or maybe just of something in your town. Of course, a descriptive sentence is always appreciated. Community organizations, groups, and even businesses that wish to showcase things they have accomplished, things they are doing, ongoing activities, good news stories, bad news stories, or anything in between. There is no guarantee a submission will be printed. Some submissions may appear in the Terrace Bay-Schreiber News and the Nepean Red Rock Gazette. Email community contributions to tbsnews@yahoo.com or nepeangazette@shaw.ca. You can find the new community calendar on page 3 of this week's edition of the Terrace Bay-Schreiber News. Fire engulfs trailer. On Thursday, April 14th, 2022, at approximately 8:45 p.m., fire crews from Schreiber and Terrace Bay attended to a trailer fire in the parking lot of the Villa Bianca Motel in Schreiber. According to Schreiber Fire Chief Jan Morrison, an eastbound traveler attempted to turn into the business parking lot and went over the curb, causing the trailer to fall over. The trailer, with several gas cans and batteries inside, ignited, causing the trailer to be engulfed in flames. There were no injuries. Be sure to check out the entertainment section for this week's crossword and weekly horoscopes. The truth about the truck tax. Patty Haidu. Last week, I began to see information circulating about a new tax on SUVs and pickup trucks. I was surprised to see this because our government had not proposed this tax. When I looked into where this information came from, I found that the truck tax, as it was being presented, does not exist. To find the reference, you can open our government's 2030 emissions reductions plan and go to Annex 3, a list of recommendations by the independent Net Zero Advisory Panel. On page 192, near the very bottom, one of the recommendations made by this independent body is to extend an existing levy on fuel-inefficient vehicles to other vehicle types, such as pickup trucks. This is not official government policy. It was not in the last Liberal Party platform, nor was it in our most recent federal budget. It is a recommendation by an external group of experts. Any level of government receives recommendations on how to move forward. Not every recommendation is taken. I understand that the idea of such a tax is worrisome to many, particularly in our region where so many of us depend on trucks and SUVs for work and transportation. However, I must say that I'm disappointed to see this story circulated by sources people trust without verifying its truthfulness. To me, it seems as though people's legitimate concerns about the rising cost of living are being exploited in service of a narrative that simply does not correspond to reality. Spreading misinformation is corrosive to our democracy and undermines the real and important work that is being done to fight climate change, the greatest existential threat of our lifetime. I urge everyone to stay vigilant and to think critically when confronted with sensationalistic stories such as this one. You can purchase subscriptions online and access digital content by going to www.tbsnews.ca. Here's a story from the Terrace Bay-Schreiber News from 1996. $25,000 development grant given. Happy trails to the snow machines gushing down the well-groomed paths. The ride on the trails through the beautiful northwestern Ontario wilderness is made possible through the hard work of many people. During the past summer and these last winter months, many volunteers of the Lake Superior family snowgoers have been working hard to prepare the trail system for the various users. With a development grant from the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs, the local Snowgoers Club had the money and came up with volunteers who supplied endless hours of time. Not only did the efforts of the volunteers and executive benefit the Snowgoers Club and the local trail permit holders, it benefited the northern communities within the area. Tourists from the other areas in Canada, as well as the United States, have traveled our trails of the northern winter wonderland. The Snowgoers Club has worked hard at completing 6 of 7 bridges. The next bridge on the agenda is Cook Creek Bridge, which will be completed within the next 6 weeks. Besides the completion of bridges, the other responsibilities the group takes care of include washouts and trail damages. There are hundreds of volunteers, but there is a newly nominated and elected executive. Brian McInnes moved from vice president on May 1st to president for the Lake Superior family snowgoers. Vice president is Tom Falzetta. Corey Heward was elected as secretary and Marlene Fisher as treasurer. The efforts of the workers have not gone unnoticed. The Bino family in particular complimented those people in this week's letter to the editor who looked after the Superior Trail system. As limited users, the family thanked them for their perseverance in keeping the trails groomed. The future plans for the club, besides the completion of Cook Creek Bridge, is to upgrade the road crossings on the East Trail. Falzetta, vice president of the club, stated their biggest project right now is to purchase, buy, or lease a maintenance garage. Thank you for watching this week's edition of the Terrace Bay-Schreiber News. Please support community newspapers by purchasing a subscription.